we sadly don't all get together on a full moon and sacrifice people to get our periods at the same time. Hey guys, it's Sharon. Welcome back to my channel. Now, one of my newer series has quickly become one of my favorites, and I think it's become one of you guys' favorites as well, especially on Instagram. Instagram eats this up, and I truly cannot say I blame them, because there is something just so entertaining about watching people being completely wrong about something they think they know or they understand. And I'm trying not to sound like a mean girl saying that, because it generally is just entertaining hearing stuff that people believe about periods, especially, which is what this video is. So we're gonna read some misconceptions, some myths, some beliefs that men thought about periods, and 9 out of 10 times it is not at all how periods worked, but you know, like, E for effort, you try. So this is gonna be really entertaining, so make sure you grab some snacks, you grab some tea, and that you're subscribed and your post notifications are turned on. If you want to see more videos like this, you can check out other episodes on my channel, and I will actually be turning this into a two-parter because we found a lot of misconceptions. So make sure you're around to see that. But all that being said, give us a thumbs up and let's go right into this. One time, a boyfriend asked me to turn it off. I was confused, so he explained that he thought women were able to turn it off like a tap. I would have been more angry if he hadn't actually been so shocked when I explained to him that is not the case. Yeah, no. If I were able to turn off my period like a tap, I would simply never turn that tap back on ever. You know, you can like hold in your pee because your pee comes from your pee hole, your urethra. We can't hold in our blood that comes from the vagina. It just flows whenever, however, how much ever. She really truly has a mind of her own, and we simply cannot do anything about it except just let her flow. Tragic, I know. A girl I knew in college thought that your period stopped when you took a shower, so you didn't have to worry about drips on the long walk from your room down the hallway to the communal bathroom. She learned quickly. What's so sad about this is that it's a girl in college. So I'm gonna take a wild guess and say she's had her period for a few years, and this entire time she thought it stopped if you were showering? How would your vagina know if you were showering? There's no way. If anything, maybe when you take a bath, because typically when you submerge your lower body under a body of water, like going in a pool or in the ocean, that water pressure almost like corks your period flow. I don't know if a bathtub has that much water pressure though. I don't believe it does. And considering that in a shower you're not at all submerging yourself in a lot of water, yeah, no, flow is still just gonna flow. A friend of mine who, despite being in his 30s, is very old school and superstitious, told me I couldn't hold his newborn baby if I was on my period because I'll give the baby cramps. How would that work? How would the baby know? I love old wives' tales and superstitions about periods because they are so absurd. How would me being on my period give a baby cramps? What if I don't even experience cramps on my own period? How would I give this child cramps? So let's take this logic and say, if I had a headache and I held a newborn baby, would I now give this newborn baby a headache? You know, like, it doesn't make sense once you start questioning it. But okay, it's fine. I didn't want to hold your newborn baby anyways. Probably looks like a little alien. We're good. My mother once told me that you can't get a puppy while on your period because the puppy could stop growing. And again, I ask, where is the correlation? How would the puppy know if I was on my period? Is it our fingertips that have some period magic that whatever we touch while bleeding, we just do some weird witchcraft on them? Suddenly a puppy can't grow. Suddenly I gave a baby cramps. Like, have you guys been getting these witchy powers and I've just been missing out on mine? Like, are we supposed to have a meeting like every full moon? Do we tap into this? Because I would like to know and learn how to do this stuff. You heard of Clifford the big red dog? How about Clifford the red tiny minuscule puppy that doesn't grow bigger than the palm of my hand because I held it while on a period. And my period turned it red, by the way. I knew a girl who was confused her period didn't stop after dabbing her vagina. Like her period was like a vaginal wound or something.
Oh no.
I thought these would be a lot more misconceptions from men. The fact that there are several from just also women is really upsetting. This is how crappy sex ed and period ed is. So bad that a person that experiences periods doesn't even know it's a period and they think it's a vaginal wound and they just gotta dab it and put a little band-aid on it. This is sad. This is gonna be a long video. Okay, I would like to know how old old this girl was. Because if it's her first period, one of the first periods, that I get. And I hate saying that, but I understand. Some mothers, some guardians, some parental figures just flat out did not tell us we were gonna get periods. I get that. But if it's someone that has bled every month for a couple of years and they still think it's a wound, I would be very concerned, because it's like, do you just think it's a wound that's not gonna heal? Also, when do you go see the doctor about your wound? Because what if it's been like 20 plus years and that wound keeps coming every single month, you know, like, when's it gonna click? Period education, sex ed, so important. At 13, I had to explain to my own mother that you can pee with the tampon in, at which point she rolled her eyes and said, oh, so you have 3 holes. And I was like, well, of vastly different sizes, but technically, yes. I will die on this hill. Sex ed is so important. A grown ass woman, a mom, not knowing that there were 3 holes down there. Ladies, please. Actually, whatever you identify as. If you have a vagina, please do not be afraid to get to know your vagina. You should know what's on your body, and you should know how your body functions. So quick little lesson, you got 3 holes. Your urethra, that's where you pee from. Your vagina, that's where you bleed and have sex from. And your butt, where you poop in, I don't know, maybe if you're into that, also have sex from. The tampon goes in the vagina. So yes, you can pee out of your urethra because there is nothing inserting it, nothing blocking it. Also, your urethra is so tiny that it is physically impossible to shove a tampon in there. Anyways, can you pee with the tampon in? Yes. Sometimes pee might get on the string, so that's why you want to try to avoid getting pee on the string as much as possible, because then if you're just having like a pee-filled string, it might lead to infection. But more of the story is, though, it's not impossible, and you got 3 holes down there. I had to explain to a guy friend that you actually left the tampon in when you inserted it. He was shocked and replied, how does it fit up there? Isn't it like 6 inches long? What the hell? I then had to explain that there's a separate applicator that doesn't stay up there with it. I'm sorry, a 6-inch long tampon? Honey, that is a dildo. That is not a tampon. The way it would be so uncomfortable to have a 6-inch wad of cotton in your hoo-ha for 4 to 6 hours every single day while on your period. I am good. That sounds painful and like a nuisance, if anything. Do you know how painful it is to pull out a dried tampon? And they're like maybe this big. I can't imagine pulling out 6 inches of dried cotton because I wasn't bleeding enough. No. So guys, they're not that big. They're not that thick either. The girth is not that girthy. And we keep them in for a short amount of time. They collect our blood. That's the purpose of a tampon. When they're full of blood, we take them out. How do we know when they're full of blood? When we wipe or when we pee and we see blood in the toilet. That's when we're like, okay, our tampon cannot take in any more space. Gotta change it. And some come with a little plastic applicator. Some come with a cardboard applicator. Some you just plop on in, but none are 6 inches. I once taught a PSHE lesson about periods to 11-year-olds. A girl asked how you get a tampon back out, and a boy scornfully told her that you obviously use a pair of needle-nosed pliers. Yeah, let me just casually pull my needle-nosed pliers out of my purse and take it to the bathroom and try to yank out my tampon. So this is actually the opposite of what you would ever want to do when taking out a tampon. Oh my God forbid you accidentally miss the string and just clip your skin instead. I'm good. That sounds like a nightmare. I would never want any tools near my coochie like that at all. So a tampon, it has a string. The purpose of that string is to pull it out. You don't need pliers. Please don't put pliers anywhere near your vagina. That sounds like some Final Destination stuff waiting to happen. I hope he learned his lesson that day. Back in high school, a male friend told me, completely seriously, that women have to use tampons sometimes and pad sometimes. Have to. It's not a matter of preference. He totally tried to mansplain menstrual products to me before mansplaining was even a word. I'll give him some credit. At least he knows about tampons and pads. That's awesome. We know the bare minimum, and that is so much better than absolutely not knowing a single thing, right? So when it comes to menstrual products, there are a lot of options nowadays. And the best part about having that many options is they're options. You get to choose what you want to use and when you want to use it. You don't have to use one over the other, and you don't have to use them on specific days. There are some that are better for specific days, like like tampons or menstrual cups may be better for like active days, while chill, lazy days, pads may be better. But it's really just personal preference at the end of the day. There is no one in the bathroom with us as we bleed, forcing us, making sure we're using a pad on Mondays, you know? On Wednesdays, we wear tampons. My older sister thought you put a tampon between your labia like a hot dog in a bun. Still makes me laugh. This reminds me of people who thought the way to use a pad is the sticky side goes on your vagina like a little band-aid. Sadly, no, it does not work like that. So a tampon, it goes inside your vagina. That's how it'll actually collect the blood. If you just let it chill there hot dog style, it is not gonna do a single thing except probably be uncomfortable and maybe even fall, slip out, create a mess. It's just really just not a good idea overall. And pads, the sticky side goes on your underwear. The more you know, right? I know multiple men, my husband included, who thought that in order to use a pad, a woman applied the sticky adhesive side to her body, not her underwear. You see? This is what I'm talking about. Hot dog tampon Band-Aid pad. There is some logic behind it. You'd think it works like a Band-Aid. I get it. But alas, if I were to seal my vagina lips with a gigantic Band-Aid / pad, how would I pee? Where would my blood go? Is it like a dam? Like, is it just kind of like trapped there until I peel the Band-Aid off and then it just goes, you know, like, no. Sticky side goes on the underwear. A husband, a grown-ass man. A friend in high school was afraid that if he hugged me too tightly during my period, he would squeeze a lot of the blood out of me like a sponge. Suddenly, our vaginas are sponges. Yeah, not how it works. Any sort of squeezing to us doesn't really affect when the blood flows. The blood flows whenever it wants to flow. I kind of wish this were the case though, because if I just wanted to blow through my period, I could simply just go up to a friend and be like, please hug me as tight as you can. Just squeeze it all out of me. Wring me out like a freaking towel, please. No. When I was a teenager, a guy thought every girl menstruated at the same time. A friend couldn't get in the pool at a pool party because she didn't have a tampon, and he asked, why don't you just ask one of the other girls for one? When no one had a tampon, but we were all in the pool, he was shocked. We had to explain that women aren't like werewolves. We don't all get our periods on the full moon. Low-key though, I wish we did. Do you know how incredible that would be? I feel like we'd have to get some magical powers at that point, right? Like a werewolf turns into a werewolf. Would we turn into like witches or just like raging bitches? Either way, it would be really cool to all just go through this really crappy thing together at once and maybe get some magical powers out of it. Yeah, no though. Everyone's period cycle is different. I could be bleeding right now. My mom could be bleeding tomorrow, in a week. My best friend could be bleeding in the next 3 months because she's on birth control. Like, everybody just has a different period cycle. We sadly don't all get together on a full moon and sacrifice people to get our periods at the same time. I had a boyfriend in high school who asked why I didn't just push it all out at once. When I looked at him confused, he told me it was just like pooping. But even if it were just like pooping, there are times when you want to poop so badly and the poop is just not coming. It was a dissatisfying poop. So then why would you think we could just poop it all out? Trust me, if I could poop out my period, if my period functioned like that, I would 110% try my hardest to do it every single month. Probably get some hemorrhoids, pop some blood vessels, who knows? Can you even get hemorrhoids in your vagina though? Whatever, you get the connection I'm trying to make. It is not like pooping. Yeah, hate to break it to you guys. And this last one says, my boyfriend was totally amazed at the fact that my period happens roughly at the same time each month. I can still remember his utter amazement as he said, you mean it's not a big surprise every month? You know when it's coming? That's like your own superpower. Yeah, except it's like that superpower that nobody wanted. It's actually more of like a nuisance than something really cool and beneficial. Also though, to be fair, yeah, you're supposed to technically get your period every single month around the same time, but periods can also be affected by so many different things like stress, weight gain, weight loss, exercise, if you play sports, if you're on birth control. So everyone's period cycle is very different. The lengths are also different. I might get my period every 25 days. Someone might get their period every 30 days. It should be regular. We would hope it's regular. It's just not always regular is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes she is a big surprise, especially if you're on birth control. She comes whenever she wants. You know what? I guess for the most part, it is kind of a superpower. Our uterus is like, yeah, we're not pregnant unless you want it to be, then I'm so sorry. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a big thumbs up. In the comments below, I want to hear the craziest, most ridiculous misconception or just insane thing you've heard someone say about periods. If you want to see more videos like this, like I mentioned, there are a couple more episodes on my channel you should totally go check out. And if you want to see more of this, let me know as well. Now, shout out of the day goes to Millie on Instagram. Thank you so much. If you'd like to be shout out of the day, just follow me on my Instagram and stay active. And that's also where you get bonus content and some extra stuff that you may not see on here. Same for TikTok. Go follow me on TikTok as well. Anyways, if you're not subscribed, you should definitely subscribe. As always, if there's something in my video that you would like to purchase, I will try my best to product tag them for you. But all that being said, I will see you guys next time. Please stay educated. Please stay educating others, because apparently our public educational system has failed us completely. But what's new? Tea. Anyways, love you. Bye.